So today is going to be a supine day. Of course, if you prefer to be seated, if you prefer to be standing, you can always choose a different position. Oops. You can always choose a different position if you need to, but today I will be doing supine, and I'll be seated for the beginning of it because it'll be easier for me to stay focused talking you through it if I'm sitting up. And then once we get through all the diaphragms in the body I'll lie down and I'll do it supine with you. Okay? So if you can, please find a comfortable reclined posture, somewhere where you can lie flat on your back for now. But I will put something underneath you so that there is a bend in your knee so that your low back, here's the key, you want your low back to be able to be flat on the floor. And sitting, unfortunately, has left residual pressure in your acetabuli. Is that the right way to say it? And that makes it so it's hard for you to actually get your legs to be fully extended without hyperextending the back for most people. So let's try finding our supine position. And I'm going to assume that if I can't see anybody anymore, that everybody is down. Super. With something underneath their legs. I'll give you just a couple more seconds to get comfortable, but those of you who are lying flat on your back, hey Zach, if you could lock that behind you, that'd be great, and shut it all the way, that'd be great, thank you. So if you're already on the ground, please go ahead and start breathing from the bottom of the pelvis up to the top of the chest, and emptying yourself from the top of your chest down to the bottom of your pelvis. Remembering that the most important instruction when you practice breathing is to let it be as easy as possible. To let it be relaxed and softly expansive. Almost as if you're not really doing anything yourself, as if you're just going to allow the universe to breathe through you. And please bring to mind now a visual of the thoracic diaphragm. Please bring to your mind a view of the thoracic diaphragm that you would see if you were standing on your bladder. If you could imagine, you could shrink yourself down to a tiny perspective and look up at your thoracic diaphragm from the top of your bladder and see it as a domed, muscular cathedral ceiling with some holes in it. A cathedral ceiling arching up over you. See that it is attached to the bottom of your sternum and the bottom of your rib cage. See that it comes around the sides to the back of the body, where it attaches to the tip of the 12th rib. See if you can locate the tip of your 12th rib with your mind. I don't mind if you reach back there and try to find it, if you wish, but see if you can find it with your mind. See if you can find your bottommost rib with your mind. Maybe find it on one side and then find it on the other side. Or maybe you want to try to find both sides at once. And see if you can feel the little suspension bridge that we've talked about that goes from the tip of the 12th rib to the tip of the transverse process of L1. See if you can feel for that suspension bridge on both sides, and see if you feel like the tissues in that area are freely moving. How easy is it for you to breathe into those tissues right now at the start of your breathing practice? Can you feel motion through there as you inhale and exhale? And then see if you can feel for the suspension bridge from the tip of the transverse process of L1 that goes to the spine itself. It goes to the front of the spine. And it climbs, and the attachments of the diaphragm climb down the spine from the thoracolumbar junction, where the thoracic spine meets the lumbar spine. It climbs down from there all the way to L3 or L4. I think that really just depends on the person. Several books have it different ways. L3, L4. See if you can feel for the front of your lumbar spine. Find the front side of your lumbar spine buried deep at the back of the body. See if you can find it. And then let the breath come in. Feel for the sensations you have at these borders. See if you can right away start breathing with your whole diaphragm. See if you can just start breathing with your whole diaphragm. And as you increase your breathing around the whole diaphragm, notice how that increases the sensations, the changing sensations at the borders of the diaphragm. Now let's go back to the front of the lumbar spine again to L4. Bring the mind to L3 or L4, which is really straight back from your navel. If you drop a line to your spine from your navel, you're going to find L4. See if you can start your breath on the front side of L4, on the front of the vertebral body of L4. Let the breath come in there like a little flick, like you're pulling the plunger back on a pinball machine. And you're going to let your inhalation begin there. You're going to let it roll up the front of your spine all the way to L1. And at L1, you'll feel that sensation start to broaden like the beam of a flashlight as the diaphragm widens and attaches to L1. And from there, as it starts to widen, you'll feel a ripple touch all the other borders of the diaphragm. You'll feel a ripple traveling out in two directions, one to the right and one to the left. And feel that ripple touch all the borders of the diaphragm, all the way around to the sternum. But the sensation also comes through the muscle belly of the diaphragm. So as you inhale, see if you can feel the muscle fibers of your diaphragm contract. And as they contract, see the dome shape of the diaphragm flatten. See the cathedral ceiling turn into a vaulted, pitched roof. Maybe just one half of a vaulted, pitched roof, but see it flatten out like a drum head. And everything above you gets squished. And as it gets squished, it pushes outward. So feel your belly expand circumferentially, like an inner tube is expanding all the way around, front, back, sides. And feel how that produces a vacuum pressure in your chest, and feel the air rushing through your airways, rushing through your nostrils as you inhale. And feel how the breath takes on a life of its own when you started at L4. It rolls up the spine, it ripples out. It does it by itself. And the softer you are with yourself, the more you can feel that this work is done for you by the wave you allowed to enter in at L3, L4. It fills you right to the top of your chest if you let it. As you exhale, See the vaulted ceiling rise up again. See the parachute open up as the muscle fibers elongate and the diaphragm domes high up into the chest cavity. And everything that got squished into you suddenly lifts off of you, lifts up underneath the diaphragm. Underneath the parachute of the diaphragm, all of your internal organs, like little skydivers, lift up as your diaphragm dome rises. And that makes your chest cavity smaller. And the pressure goes up, so air goes out. So bottom to top, top to bottom. Feel the breath come all the way up. Feel it lift the chest, lift the shoulder girdle. Everything gets puffy. As you exhale, the shoulder girdle completely drains, collapses, and relaxes. As the diaphragm goes up, organs lift up. See if you can feel the motion of the internal organs in your abdomen, waving like seaweed in tide. Towards your head on the exhalation, towards your tail on the inhalation. See if you can feel the sense of drawing, reaching deeper into your pelvis every time you exhale. Feel it touch your pelvic floor and draw even your pelvic floor up towards your head as you exhale. Feel your body do a slight spontaneous little kegel, a little mula bandh. And then right after that wave of contraction matures in the pelvic floor drops. And all the organs get pulled down, pulling down on your thoracic diaphragm, enlarging your chest cavity, making it larger, drawing air in for an even better breath, an even easier breath, an even bigger breath. And now let's go back to the front of the spine again, where the wave is rolling up from L3 or L4. And feel how that contraction actually engages and creates a line of sensation from the front of your spine that rises up into the muscle belly of the diaphragm and makes a loop around the junction between your esophagus and your stomach. Feel how contracting that loop and pulling the food tube down as you inhale creates a tugging sensation at the front of your throat and under your chin. Find that tugging sensation. Keep your lips closed, tongue on the roof of the mouth, swallow. Take all the excess space out of your mouth with that swallow, and then as you inhale, allow your tongue to be pulled back and down by that pulling sensation. Feel that bringing breath right up the back of your head, neck, and shoulders as your tongue gets pulled back and down with that sensation. And because it is suction to the roof of your mouth, your palate goes back and down with it. Now let the whole lower jaw go. Let the whole lower jaw get nudged back and down. And feel how that expands the sense of breath in the head. The lower jaw goes first, really, and the tongue, rooted in the floor of the mouth, goes along with it, pulling the palate, bringing breath right up into the head, neck, and shoulders. And now, let your face be soft and relaxed. Bring your awareness to your cheeks. Let them feel soft and relaxed, and let them Get drawn in on inhalation, hugging your teeth, and feel how they drift back apart. Drift away from your teeth as you exhale. Go ahead and feel as if you could suck the breath right through the surface of your cheeks. Even if air is not moving through your cheeks directly, the breath, if you let your face be soft and relaxed and you let it move, the breath is indeed moving right through your face. You may even start to notice that it almost feels like you can feel fluid being drawn through little solid objects, like fluid moving through pebbles, through a column of pebbles. Feel for that fluid motion in the spaces between your cells. And now let's go inside the ear canals and find your eardrums at the medial ends of your ear canals, and let that area be so soft and relaxed. And see what it feels like to sip your breath right through your eardrums as you allow them to be drawn in on inhalation and puff back out on exhalation. Feel how this softening of the face, this broadening of the palate, this gentle motion actually starts to generate a slight smile all by itself. Feel the temples move now. Feel the temples move, and as they move, feel the coolness settle into your frontal lobe. A nice cooling sensation is spreading all over your cranium as you are able to breathe now, right through the many diaphragms of the cranium. And let's go and feel our eyeballs in their sockets. Feel for the sensations of your eyeball inside of its socket. Feel all the smooth, mostly rounded edges of the the eyeball inside its socket. And let your eyeballs be soft and relaxed. And notice how as you inhale, they feel like they hug the back end of their socket. And when you exhale, they drift back forward. Allow this motion to happen in your head. Allow this motion to happen in your eye sockets. Allow this motion to happen in your temples and your eardrums, your cheeks, your palate, the floor of your mouth, and feel how your head is becoming soft, cool, as it expands slightly in all directions and collapses in all directions, right back into the center of you. And now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that even if your eyes are closed right now, that you could see the entire room around you. Everything above in your field of view, including everything in your peripherals. You have a nice, soft way of taking in the whole scene without tunneling in on anything. If you wish, you can even let your awareness be 360 degrees so that you're seeing behind your head too. If you're on the second floor, see right through to the first floor or wherever you are. I don't know where you are. And now I want you to see if you can gently open your eyes, but maintain that beautiful softness that takes in the whole room without focusing on any particular thing. And I want you to bring your awareness. I want you to imagine that you're seeing yourself in a mirror. Even as your eyes are open and you're taking in the whole room, see your own eyes in a mirror. And that clear connective tissue over the colored part of your eyes, feel for it. Find the sensations of that part of your eyeball, that clear connective tissue cover over the colored part of your eye. Do they feel the same on both sides, on the right and the left side? Does one side seem clearer than the other? Is one part of the border of the cornea feel less lively than other parts, or wrinkled or dry? If so, as you relax and allow your cornea to get drawn in on inhalation and puff back out on exhalation, feel any hard edges, any asymmetry just melt away. Feel the balance come back for the two sides of the body. Now see your iris, the colored part of your eye, the colored muscle of your eye, and feel it as you inhale and exhale. Feel it get drawn in on inhalation, feel it puff back out on exhalation. Check for symmetry. If one side feels clogged and congested, see if you can relax the diaphragm on the back part of the body on the same side until you feel some of that congestion getting drawn right out of the eyeball. And now your lens is just inside that hole there. Feel for your lens and let that be soft. And let it undulate. And now, on our next inhalation, we're going to lift the toes. We're going to squeeze all the muscles of the lower extremities. Right up to the butt cheeks and including the inner thighs. So if your feet are flopped out to the side, which they should be when you're lying flat on your back, relaxed. As you inhale, lifting your toes, reaching through the bottoms of your feet, your heels, and the balls of your feet. Reaching through the whole bottom of the foot as your toes are lifted, as if you were standing on a floor with your toes lifted on the inhalation. Lift your toes. Squeeze all the muscles of your lower extremities right up to your butt cheeks on the inhalation. As you exhale, let everything go. Feel how your legs get longer with each inhalation, longer and fatter as the breath rushes into them. And feel how they collapse and retract as you exhale. There's a slight spiraling motion that you can appreciate as your legs move in and out of your own center. They actually spiral in and out of your own center. And now let's add the arms. We're going to spread the palms. No hyperextension. Spread the palms and fingers. A nice dish shape. Arms are going to be lying and relaxed. You can put your arms down, relax them. But wherever they are, whatever position they're in, as you inhale, you're going to spread your palms and fingers. You're going to squeeze every muscle of your upper extremities right in and around your whole armpit, including your latissimus, your lats, and at the back of your armpit. Now squeeze those two so the armpit becomes deep. That's just a nice, gentle, symmetrical squeeze of the whole body. So on your next inhale, lift the toes, spread the palms. Let that wave of contraction mature through your entire being. Take note of any asymmetry you may experience between the right and the left sides. You may find that as you're inhaling and contracting, you may find that you are contracting more on one side than the other. So try to bring up the contraction on the side that's not as engaged so that they match. Notice that when you do this, whether you're in the arms or the legs, as you start to get the sensations to match each other on the right and left side, create a mirror image of sensation, you'll find that the arms and legs, or the arms will start to move relative to the shoulders. They'll start to adjust themselves relative to each other across your shoulder girdle. Your hips will start to communicate with each other from across the pelvis, and you'll find that as you bring balance to the sensations, to the contraction sensations, that your hips shift, that your shoulders and your hips shift relative to the other side of the body as they try to reintegrate and find balance. And as you start to come into balance and you're allowing that wave of contraction to mature through your entire being, you may even find that it feels somewhat like soaring every time you inhale. Like you're a big bird soaring on a thermal as that current moves through your body. You may find that you can continue breathing, inhaling, allowing that wave of contraction to mature through your entire body. It will continue to mature long after the air has stopped moving on inhalation. And that you can, just the same as you plummet and surrender into exhalation, the same is true that you can continue relaxing and relaxing and relaxing for a long time after the air stops moving. Now, if you wish, you can just continue on breathing like this, in this fashion. I'm going to sit up because I believe we're going to answer questions if anybody has them. But everybody else can stay supine for now. I'll chant 3 ohms and then we can all come to seated or stay where you are. Keep breathing though. Try to use the question asking or commenting as a way to practice taking complete breaths as you speak. Okay? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all beings know health. May all beings know their breath. May all beings know their true nature. Okay, my friends, I'm going to unmute you all. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm going to unmute all. Hello to everybody again.
Hello.
There he is. If you're wondering where he is, he's right there. He's right there.
Shavasana.
He's right there being himself.
I did have a question, Anjani.
Please. Maybe I have an answer.
When we're doing this, is it through the nose and out the mouth? Does it matter if you go in and out of the nose?
It does.
The breath?
It does. It really does matter. And I think it's really important for almost all of your breaths to go in and out through the nose. Okay. I think that there are breathing practices where you open your mouth. There are times where you feel like you have to open your mouth, but opening your mouth is kind of like leaving a hole in your hydraulic system. Okay. And I know the struggle is real. The struggle is real. I've been a mouth breather for most of my life, and and something that I've had to that I'm always correcting. But in my thirst for a better breath, I think it's important, because why? If your mouth is open, how are you going to generate the pressure gradient change with the floor of the mouth that brings the breath right to your hypothalamus? Okay. I mean, you'll still get drainage from your hypothalamus. We're all living, right? And we've all been being told by our gym teachers and all these other people to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, but I just don't think you get the same good fluid motion with the mouth open. And if the floor of the mouth is not jump started, let's try it. Let's all try. See if you can sip through your ears if your mouth is open. Hold on. You might be able to get a little. Now let's make the suction seal again. Right? Is it different?
I can feel the elliptical motion inside my body more with my mouth closed.
Oh yeah, and that's what we're after. More elliptical motion. Huge fan of the ellipse. Huge fan. So I think that it is really important to breathe through the nose, and I think this is true even if you are and there's so many, like, do you realize how much fluid you lose by breathing with your mouth open? How it dehydrates you? Yeah. Tara and I once went to the desert, and I made a little practice, because we were walking around the desert all day just looking at stuff, and I just kept I had a mouthful of water. And I just used that as my way to remind myself to keep my mouth closed, so that I wouldn't lose so much of my inner fluids through my mouth. That's how dogs cool off, you know. They open their mouth to pant because they lose water that way. It's like their version of sweating. And sometimes you may need to open your mouth. But I find that even during rigorous physical activity, I prefer to keep my mouth closed. And the only times that I will open my mouth are if I am trying to generate a type of compression in my body that spares me any type of physical injury, and also spares me getting caught in some type of submission that I don't really want to get caught in when I'm doing jiu-jitsu. So the whole time I do jiu-jitsu, I keep my mouth closed, and it makes a huge difference. Now you lose a lot of power in your body with a hole in your hydraulic system. So I think it's very important to keep the mouth closed.
That's very good information. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Did you guys feel a difference between sipping through your ears with your mouth open and closed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, can't sip through our ears if our mouth is open, can we? So any other questions?
I want to make a comment.
Please comment away.
I had the most delightful image of a little tiny Michelin man standing on my kidneys.
Did he have a tail?
No, just
Okay.
a little, he had a little hat in his little hands, and he's receiving the drum of the diaphragm, and then pushing it back up to the doming. But he showed up in the ears also. So he was in the ears and standing on the kidneys, looking up at the diaphragm at the same time. I think I'm going to keep him.
Keep him. That's kind of like a Where's Waldo?
I don't know, sort of a cartoony atlas.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also want to report that my ribs and spine feel so much softer and less in pain. And I'm not sure always that lying supine will work for me. Mm-hmm. And it totally did, because he, little guy, was helping to 360 it.
Nice. Nice work, little guy.
I have to name him.
I have something.
Yes.
Thank you.
I was thinking, we've been spending a lot of time in the head, which is great exploration, because I've never done that before. But I would like to, maybe on one of them, maybe the supine one would be the best one, but to get more time to practice like the alternate side breathing, okay. Or like that kind of stuff. Cause yeah.
Super. We had a really nice time with it yesterday at office hours, with alternate side breathing, and feeling it shifting our body around to alternate side breathe. So we will do more of that, and maybe not this coming week, but next week we'll start adding. We'll add a little yoga class. About how, and I guess the first one should be more of a, how do we make this, how do we use this stuff, more so than it'll be like us practicing together like we are right now. Like now we're practicing together on Sundays. We have the class to reinforce our understanding of the anatomy and the physiology, because it really can feed in to what you're practicing on a daily basis. Oh, and by the way, we're over right now, but I'm just staying for questions. Just make sure that nobody is as spaced out about time as I do, and that you have to get somewhere. But I think maybe not this coming week, but the next week we're going to add one that breaks down how we use this to side bend and rotate and do it all effortlessly. How once we have once we have our hydraulic system functioning, we can use our muscles like kite strings rather than like towing cable, and have this really lovely soft experience of expansion that isn't about yanking our bones around in any given direction. We can just sail them there. Please.
I'm having trouble understanding the numbered pieces of the spine, the ones and fours.
Oh, okay. Ones and fours. Okay. All right. Thank you. That's
L1 and L4. I'm not sure which is what.
Is one down or one up? One is down.
Let me do this. Hold on.
And am I visible to you? I'm invisible to myself.
No.
You are invisible. You have to click start video, there's a little box.
I may actually stop the recording because I'm going to show you guys some pictures that I don't know how to, Uzi, what's it yet? I don't know how to credit them yet. So I'm going to, but, oh, and that's another thing that we're working, that I've been working on. I found that I'm putting together this little slideshow that we'll share with you guys, just of, you know, free images I'm gathering from the internet, and some of them that I'm paying for from other images, so that you guys can have like some eyeball anatomy to look at, you know, and you don't have to go hunting for anything, so that when I'm talking about stuff, you'll be able to go, oh yeah, I saw that fourth lumbar vertebra in that picture. But right now, I'm going to stop the recording. Man, it's just